Hey there, I'm Ben.
This will be a quick one, but there are 3 things you should know about the Apple Watch Ultra 2, specifically about the battery life, the environmental impact, and of course, a feature that Apple has been marketing the absolute hell out of, double tap. First of all, I like that you don't have to tap super hard to make the gesture work. What's frustrating about this gesture though is that it's somewhat hit and miss. Generally, it's better to wait a beat after you raise your wrist. Too soon and it just won't work. If it does work on the first try, however, it is really nice to be able to scroll through your smart stacks in such a convenient one-handed way. What's annoying about this is that the design language implies that this function is used for scrolling, but you can't use it to scroll through other things like your workouts or really any other scrollable scenario. The really notable thing here is that there is no back button. I would really love to see Apple implement the use of pointer finger and index finger as forward and back buttons. Honestly, now that I'm saying it, I feel like Apple should have waited until they could execute it this way to roll it out. Moving into less critical territory, I do love this feature for answering phone calls. Honestly, more than once I've had a call coming in and I've wanted to be able to answer it using just one hand. Something I very much dislike, however, is that when I use double tap to answer a phone call, it goes directly to the speaker on my watch. Ideally, if I have my headphones in, it should just know that I have my headphones in and then forward it directly to my headphones, because hands down, that's going to be better call quality. Get it? Hands down. I'm taking this seriously. I think the best execution that I've seen for this is for messages. For example, when I receive a text message, I can double tap and my watch immediately initiates a dictation. I double tap again to end the dictation and the message automatically sends. This is really slick. It feels exactly the way I think Apple intended for this to feel. Effortless. It feels handy, if you know what I mean. Obviously, again, sometimes double tap is kind of hit and miss, but when it works for this, it is really nice because honestly, dictation into an Apple Watch is surprisingly effective in most scenarios. I would also like to point out that it's weird that I can't double tap to start a workout when it's suggested on my watch. I also can't use it in any way when I'm exercising, which again is weird. I am excited to see Apple implementing this feature. It's a great idea, and I think eventually it will be a great feature. Unfortunately, I would say this particular metaphorical apple isn't exactly ripe. Ha ha. Hee. Anyway, I do worry a little bit in that I also felt that Siri could potentially be a really great thing, but it has been a long time and Siri is still a very second-rate personal assistant. Here's hoping they do better with this feature. Okay, let's talk about the battery. So often with Apple these days, it's progressed by millimeters. I've complained about this a lot, and although that is still very much the case with this device, I would say that the battery has gotten to a point where it's almost tolerable, especially when I think about my life with an Apple Watch Series 9. These days, charging my watch isn't the constant struggle that it was before because we're edging closer to a 3-day battery life. I am really enjoying the more relaxed and more flexible charging schedule. As a parting shot, however, I just have to point out that 3 days in the world of most watches is still kind of a joke, especially for a watch that's supposed to be a survival watch and has no other method of charging except for, like, I don't know, a battery pack maybe in the wilderness. And what's worse is that Apple has actually fought startups trying to make charging straps or battery augmentation for the Apple Watch. As is often the case, Apple refuses to ask for help. All that to say that if we can't have a better than 3-day battery life, a swappable battery would make this device almost perfect in my eyes. A watch strap which stretches the battery to say a week or more would be fucking magic. Environmental impact. Something which I am very happy to report is Apple's continued efforts to make the Apple Watch a carbon neutral product. Obviously, Apple does its fair share of virtue signaling. That said, if Apple is reporting accurately, having a device on your wrist which meets that standard is honestly so great, especially given that this device is really more of an added bonus than something essential like a phone. Excited to see Apple completely decarbonize its supply chain. Summary. Honestly, it feels like Apple is really running out of tricks and gimmicks, because that's what double tap feels like right now. Less a really useful, well-developed feature and more a gimmick used in sales videos. I think it'll be a great feature one day, but until then I'll be tapping my watch, waiting for something better. Okay, thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. Also, if you don't subscribe at this point, I will come to your house and do unspeakable things. This is BRBTG, I'm BRB, and as always, I'll be right back.